Again, just kind of the same deal. I think we missed out on some opportunities offensively, and then we just couldn't get the zeros up when we needed to get the zeros up.
Questions?
With,
Go ahead.
oh, okay. Just with Brady's start, what do you think was really kind of working tonight for him and his innings that he pitched?
Each time out, he's been better, right? And what I think what helped him tonight, we were much more efficient with attacking the zone, and then the changeup was a huge weapon for him. Being able to throw that to both right-handers and left-handers, that is one of those pitches that for me I think is essential for pitchers to have, because it is if you have it and you are convicted in it, it is a get out of jail free card. You can throw that at any time, and there's no hitting coach in the country that can teach a hitter how to hit a pitcher that has a good changeup. And so for him to be able to do that really, really helped him, because he wasn't consistent with the breaking ball. So if the changeup's not there, then he's a one-pitch pitcher, and the one pitch isn't enough with the fastball, so that changeup helped keep them off balance.
End of the game, I think it was 6 runners left in scoring position. What did you see that contributed to that tonight?
Trying to be the hero. Just that's what I told our guys. Like you were trying to get the hit, and trying to get the hit never works in this game. Because you can do everything perfect and still not end up being a hit. And so because we were trying to get hits, swings were big, swings were long, they were aggressive. Instead of just being simple and on time, looking for your pitch specifically when you're ahead in the count, and just putting the barrel on it and seeing what happens, caused us to miss out on some opportunities. And you want them to be able to grow and mature from that, but at the same time, we're chasing wins. We missed out on opportunities. Somebody wants to be the hero, and it's just the only way you can be the hero is be consistent and go about doing things the right way, and things are going to fall in your favor. And we weren't able to do that a couple times.
So for Killenbrink, following that 4th inning, he had pretty much tied every season high for himself going into the 5th. What was the thought process behind it, bringing him back out for that 5th, knowing that he was going to run his pitch count up to higher than he ever has this season?
No, he's run his pitch count up a little bit higher, just because he's been at 80 some odd pitches, 70 some odd pitches, but it's been in 3 innings. So the pitch count has been up there, but the thought process was you're facing 7, 8, and 9, with 7 being right-handed, 8 and 9 being both left-handed. So let's see if we can finish the bottom of the order, specifically with having both the lefties coming up.
And then after that, you have Josh McDevitt come in, kind of gets out of that jam, and then allows a solo shot, but 2 strikeouts the rest of the way. So another solid outing for him. Kind of had that rough start, but after that, it's been pretty smooth sailing, relatively on the stat sheet for him in his other outings. What have you seen from him in his return? What's allowed him to come in and have pretty quick success?
I just think who he is, right? Like, that was a guy coming into the year that we thought maybe he had a chance to be in the weekend rotation for us, and then he has that setback, and obviously, here within the last week and a half, he's just started to get back out, and so this is an opportunity for us to got to pay the bill. This is the opportunity for us to kind of get him out there and get him in the mix and get him in the fold, because that's the guy we know is going to be really, really good for us. And we were able to do some things with him mechanically this summer to fix some things, and the velo's ticking back up. He's more consistent with the curveball, and so just as soon as we figure out with the fastball a little bit, he'll be exactly what we thought he was going to be.
Coach, do you have any comments about the recent news about the returfing of the field coming up?
Long overdue. It's a situation where me coming back here, knowing that it was what it was. Obviously, I can't do anything about what was done previously. I never understood why it was half turf, half grass anyway. But it will be something that, at least from a recruiting standpoint, we will be able to tell guys, hey, yep, we are moving in the right direction. There is some investment in what it is that we're doing. And so I'm excited about it. And so it'll give us a new look and give something for us to build on.
Kind of along that line, did you hear A.D. Veach's comments from the Zoo to You stop in I think St. Charles earlier this week about kind of advancing the funding for the baseball program, and what does that mean for you?
I hadn't heard about it, and then some of my coaching buddies sent me the little tweet and told me and said, hey man, it's really good that he's supporting you and understands where you're at, and I think that's good. You know, I mean, I can't do anything but admire him for that and be appreciative of him, of recognizing, hey, yeah, the baseball program isn't having the success that we want it to have, but we also haven't done what we need to do to assist them in that. So that's always a good thing. But again, I knew what the job was when I took it, and I knew where we were when I took the job. And I still am very, very confident that we're going to be successful. But every little thing that we can do when you're playing in this league to put you on a level playing field helps. If we can get it, great. If we can't get it, then we have to figure out a way to do without it. But whatever we can get is going to be beneficial for us moving in the right direction.
So to clarify for that, you mentioned kind of the half turf, half grass setup. Is that going to move to a full turf field?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Figured as much when I saw the price tag.
I don't even know the price tag, so yeah.
1.3 to 1.4 million is the initial theoretical price tag the university's looking at from what I've seen.
Gotcha.
You and Laird Beach have a bit of a history together being at Memphis. How does it feel, and how is it knowing that he said that he was more going to stand behind you with the future, and that he thinks that he needs to put the investments towards the program with you?
I mean, good. Again, kind of the same deal. When he hired me at Memphis, he hired me at Memphis at a time where the program hadn't been successful in a number of years, and kind of the same deal there, right? They get a new turf field there, get a new video scoreboard. It's in a really competitive league, and we were able to go in there in year one and have the first winning season in I think it was like 8 years. And so I think that he knows me and what I'm capable of doing and how I go about it, and knows that there's a process for me when it comes to that. And so I think that because of that, and he hired me someplace else, he hired me at that other place for a reason, and probably would have hired me at this place for the same reason. And again, when you're building something, building is never pretty. We're not in a situation here where we can reload. We have to rebuild, and rebuilding takes time, and it's not pretty. But when it's finished, everybody's going to love what they see.
There's another coach in town who's dealt with a pretty similar season recently. Have there been any discussions between you and Coach Gates about kind of struggling through a year like this and what it takes to get it turned around and maybe doing it quickly?
We talk all the time, and despite this situation or any other, and so yeah, I mean, he's just kind of like, hey man, I understand what you're going through, and if you need anybody to talk to, let me know. And similar situations, right? He had some key injuries, and then you get those guys back, and those two guys happen to be, the key to what he was doing. And unfortunately for us, in our game, the injuries that we suffered have more of an impact because it's on the mound. If you can't pitch, specifically in this league, it becomes obviously really, really tough. So yeah, we have had discussions, and I know he's there for me to lean on.
It's been a bit of a slump for the offense recently. I think less than 5 runs in 8 of the last 9. Does that kind of go back to what you were talking about earlier with runners in the scoring position, kind of the strain placed on the offense this year, or what else do you possibly attribute it to?
I think it's as much as we are trying to get them to stay in the right mindset. When you chase crooked numbers, that becomes tough from an offensive perspective. When you feel like you have to match crooked numbers in this league, that becomes really, really difficult because those don't come very easily or often. And so I think, again, it adds to that pressure, and we get to playing the scoreboard and not playing the game in that situation. And that's the thing we're trying to challenge them on is, hey, regardless of what the scoreboard says, play the game, because it's not over until you get to the 27th out. So just keep plugging away, and you never know what will happen. But because of the situation that we've been in and because of where we are, I think mentally it's just been a really, really tough deal on the offensive guys when it comes to that, because I think they feel like I got to come up, I got to get a home run, or I got to get this big hit in this situation, and that's just a tough place to be.
So we saw you on the third baseline again. How do you think that does that at all like inhibit your communication with the team, or does it give you a new perspective? How do you like being on the third baseline every couple series or every once in a while?
No, I mean, this was a result because Coach LeBlanc is gone, and so that's I don't know if it really matters with our guys whether I'm there or whether I'm in the dugout. For me, obviously having a different perspective of being at third base is good, but I also like being in the dugout to be able to talk to guys about at bats and situations and what we're potentially going to do at the time when they get to the plate, and making sure that their heads are in the right space.
Has Seals gotten his regular glove back yet?
I'm sure he went back out there and got it. Yeah.
You talk about the first 6 innings. It was probably the cleanest 6 innings I've seen all year.
Yeah, I mean,
You're close.
Again, it was Brady goes out there and he does his thing, and like I said, what I love about what he's doing is each outing he's going is just getting better, and so we were there, we were battling. As I talked to our hitters here at the end of the game, I said the only thing that frustrated me with what we did today was we didn't make adjustments sooner. And we knew this guy had velo, and so I think we came in amped up to match velo, and swings were a little bit long and pull side aggressive as opposed to being aggressive through the middle of the field. So then when he threw the cutter and he threw the breaking ball and they popped in the zone, we'd be able to stay on those pitches. And so we just missed out on some of those. And we have a big situation, and you bring a true freshman to the plate at that point. And even though I call him over and try and calm him down, it's a true freshman in a clutch situation where he knows if he delivers, it can swing the game. And so he puts this pressure and angst on himself. And you saw it from the very first pitch of the at-bat, that ball's in the other batter's box, and he check swings on it. But that's where we are. We got a young club that needs to get experience, but it's a really talented group. And as they get that experience, they're going to be better.
Talk about Trey Callaway. Just kind of stepping in and getting a hit. That's
Yeah.
how really simple it is.
Yeah. I mean, Trey has been plugging along all year, and it's been a thing for him where, from a maturity standpoint, we've been looking to help him grow and mature as an individual, and as he's starting to do that, he's now going to see himself be able to get more opportunities as a result. Big, strong, physical kid, really, really athletic. Probably, no offense, DK, probably one of the most athletic catchers that I've ever seen. But yeah, he's going to be a good one.
Anything else, guys?
Sam Horn getting the start tomorrow. What are kind of some improvements that you're looking to see from him after his outing against Alabama?
I mean, again, it's tough when you come off TJ and you jump right back into competition and there's no build-up or quote-unquote rehab starts or any of those kind of things. So for me, hopefully he comes out, locates a little bit better. We've tried to work on some things in between, add some depth to the breaking ball, but just with his time between us and football, it's just hard for us to help him kind of make that progression because he's basically trying to do 2 things at once. So we take the time that we can get with him and try and help him get better, and then hopefully the results produce and magnify themselves on the field.
Coach, you've announced the rest of the rotation for the weekend. How does Losi and the other injured guys that are returning, how do they kind of factor into how the bullpen works over the weekend?
They'll just be in it. And when opportunities present themselves for us to get them out and get in there, then those guys' numbers will be called, and we'll use them.
Anything else, guys? Thank you all.
All right, appreciate it.